Alright, peace y'all. And I'm actually doing a video. It's been a while. But let's get to it, because so this is like 2 months ago. I happened to be I went to Manhattan after my job, go to a vitamin shop. And it just so happens I happened to come across something that happened in Midtown where they had the whole street blocked. And come to find out the police had actually shot and killed somebody who was trying to rob a place. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh shit, okay. I found that out just by Googling while I was walking. So went to the vitamin shop, got what I needed. Went to a deli. This is in 8th Avenue. I went to a deli and either 8th or 7th. It had to be the 7th. No, it was 8th Avenue. And around the corner is the Fashion Institute. FIT. Fashion Institute. No, I think I spelled it. It's Fashion Institute or whatever. And I used to intern there, near there, you know what I'm saying? Took an internship and I used to pass through there all the time, or pass by there. And so I was sitting in front of the deli, you know, drinking something. It was real hot that day, first hot day in a long time. And I was gonna go through the Fashion Institute to get to the PATH train. And all of a sudden, to make the turn, I see what I've been seeing on the news, which is the pro-Palestinian protests, camps that they set up. The Fashion Institute doesn't have like a big campus. I don't even have a campus, but it's like a little front section there on 27th Street, and they did like a small encampment there. And of course, I support the pro-Palestinian protest. You know, they were drawing something on the sidewalk, chalking something on the sidewalk, and they started chanting. They were there for a while. I stood there for a while to see what would happen, and he started chanting, you know, about divesting, again, which is our support. That should be broad-based. Also with Saudi Arabia, we should boycott anything made from Saudi Arabia, you know, all that. So, and, you know, I did some activism in 2009 to 2010, you know, pro-abortion rally, but mostly war on terror, protesting against Henry Kissinger and stuff like that. That was in between my little music career I had going. I do everything. I do whatever I feel like. And so they started chanting, and then they started walking towards 7th Avenue. And there's like a fence. The fence only opens when people who work there drive in. They open the fence, and all of a sudden on the other side, coming from 6th Avenue, a whole other group of protesters. From what I see, these were all students. They were all students, and maybe faculty, some faculties. And I did not see any Marxist stuff or Leninism, but I don't doubt that some students maybe study Marxist. The reason why I'm bringing that up, because, by the way, it turned out it was good. It was all good. Nothing happened, and I just left because I had to bounce. I was tired. But the reason why I bring the whole Marxist thing up is because the NYPD, members or lieutenants from the NYPD went on TV and made a big deal about taking pictures of Marxist books they found in some of the encampments, one of the encampments in Columbia. I don't support Marxism or communism, none of that shit. You ain't gotta trick me into believing that. But I'm like, why are they going through the whole trouble of going on TV and trying to portray all protesters as Marxists when we all know, and I've seen, half of the protesters are Arab American, some of them Palestinian, you know, so they don't believe in Marxism, they're religious, you know, they believe in religion, spirituality, all that. So to me, it looked like they were doing some kind of, how you say it, a ploy or a cover-up or a distraction, really. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. It was a distraction. The mayor all the while was going on TV and talking about anti-Semitism, which has nothing to do with the protest. It's not anti-Semitic to be against a government that's not Semitic at all. Okay, this is what we're talking about, is colonialism. What we're talking about is a country built on Palestinian land. The Palestinians were already there. Doesn't matter what happened centuries ago. Right before Israel was built, Palestinians were there. You have to respect the Palestinians. Now, I could go into that whole saga, but it's going to take long. And even before Israel was created, there was some tension because there were some Jewish people building settlements there. And the Palestinians thought, hey, why don't you build the settlements over there? You know, it's complicated. I'm not going to get into that, but it's not complicated. Because once Israel is created, Israel was like a cash cow for the United States. Had nothing to do with freedom or democracy, because once Israel was created, Palestinians had no freedom. And we see what happens when you allow people to take an inch, they'll take a mile. Israel took the Golan Heights eventually in Syria, which had nothing to do with the creation of Israel. Why would they take the Golan Heights? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't, in modern time, it doesn't make sense. But Eric Adams, former police officer himself, keep saying anti-Semitism. And when those lieutenants went on TV bragging about the Marxist books, I understood what they were trying to do, because I'm from New York City and I know why the NYPD has been doing this in the media. The reason why is because, and this includes Eric Adams before he became mayor, way before he became mayor. We're talking right before and right after the invasion of Iraq, the NYPD was being recruited and to work for the CIA. They were expected to, this is the way I'm putting it, they were expected to work with the CIA to help the Mossad in Israel. This is something that's been going on for years. You know? And there's something going on for years. And this was actually in the newspapers in the late 2000s. I can't remember why they put it in the newspapers. But I'm being distracted by a lot of noise. My first video in a long time, and I'm being distracted by noise everywhere. Okay. So the NYPD has a history of working with the Israeli Mossad since the war on terror, and they're hoping that Americans have a short memory span and won't bring that up. I'm bringing it up because since at least the late 50s, various police departments around the country have been recruited by the CIA or work for the CIA. and this goes all the way back to the invasion of Cuba. And there were many police officers that were being recruited for that. There was also police officers that recruited into the military for the Vietnam War. So this is not something new. This is something that's been going on for decades before I was born. Okay, since the time my mother was growing up. You know, since the creation of the CIA. CIA was recruiting everybody, including various police officers from various police departments around the world, around the country. So that's the main reason why. I'm surprised that nobody has brought that up in mainstream media yet. The fact that the NYPD has been working with the Mossad for years under the guise of the war on terror. That explains why the NYPD did what they did and labeled all these protesters as Marxist-Leninists, and communists, socialists. They got books about Mao Zedong and all this stuff. And that's wrong. I mean, I don't agree with it. You have a right to read those books, but I don't agree with it. But not all protesters believe in Mao Zedong. A lot of them, again, are Arab American. A lot of them Arab Americans are religious. So, you know, so to protect, for the NYPD and Mayor Eric Adams to protect their relationship with Israel and the Mossad, they had to attack these protesters as anti-Semitic or as communists, socialists. And the last time I checked, most communists are not really anti-Semitic. I know, I did know quite a few. Most of them were not anti-Semitic at all. You know, so that's propaganda. And I did a video about this last year, or a year and a half ago. I did a video about Eric Adams going to Israel. I think that was last year. Go back to that video. I say it again, it's just my opinion. I think Eric Adams is maybe thinking about running for president. I think. And I knew it wasn't going to be this election. I feel it's going to be the next election. You know? So that's why I feel about Eric Adams. But the reason why the NYPD and the newspapers pull up those articles about those communist books that were found in encampment was because they're trying to protect their investment with the Israeli government. Because the Mayor Eric Adams, the other mayors before him, de Blasio, Bloomberg, Giuliani, they all have an investment in working with the Israeli government on many things, but specifically with the war on terror. And a lot of police officers were recruited by the CIA to help the Mossad in Israel. And that's all it is, plain and simple. That's why they're attacking the protesters, you know? Now, I'm against the Israeli government. I'm against the Lokir Party specifically, and Netanyahu. He's a war criminal. But Israel doing this crimes against humanity, which is nothing new. They've been doing this and bombing Gaza off and on for decades. And let us not forget the survivors of the USS Liberty, who to this day say that they were attacked on purpose by Israel because Israel knew that was the USS Liberty, which they did. Because even back then, everyone was surveillancing each other. And the Israeli government knew that was the USS Liberty, and they knew that they had got caught massacring people, and they didn't want that to come out, so they blew the USS Liberty up. They tore it in shreds. They hit it over and over again. They were waiting to kill Americans to hide the fact that they're war criminals, that they committed mass murder. And that's the history of the Israeli government in a short way, you know what I'm saying? Like, without trying to discuss the politics of the day. I just mentioned why the situation is where it is. And if it wasn't for Israel committing all those war crimes since at least the 60s, I mentioned the creation of Israel on Palestinian land. That's the first part. And the second part is all the crimes they committed after that. That's what led to Palestinians feeling like, okay, now let us kill people. Let us hijack planes. Let us blow up walls and massacre people. They just react, and I'm not defending it. What Hamas did is an act of terror, but what they're demonstrating is that what Israel is doing is an act of terror as well. It's state-sponsored terrorism. When you're bombing hospitals, bombing schools, bombing mosques, bombing churches, killing women and children, the Israeli governments know what they're doing. When they get caught, they say, "Oh, it was an accident." It's not an accident. Okay, it's a war crime. You're trying to take over Palestinian land. You want the Palestinians to be removed so that way Israel can control the whole Gaza. And now then they want Israel. You know, I mean, then they want Syria. Okay, so this is what they've been doing for a long time. It's nothing new. So, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I stand by that. You know, and those are the facts. You know, and nobody's gonna see otherwise because they know they can't. So the only argument they could say after that is something about how Jews were the first people in that land, or you know, something like that. But we're talking modern time. We're talking modern era. We're talking how Israel was created, modern day Israel. Okay, and that's when you know we won the argument and they lost the argument. You know, that's how we know. You know, and anything else is just politics and bullshit. All right, and those are the facts. Those are the facts. Same thing with Saudi Arabia. You think Saudi Arabia are killing women and children by accident? You think they're blowing up mosques and school buses with children on them by accident? You think that's an accident? No. And they're blocking aid and food to get to the Yemenis people. So it's all about imperialism. It's all about power. It's war crimes. That's it. It's war crimes. They're war criminals, all of them. And yes, our government, U.S. government, has committed crimes against humanity. And Vietnam War is one of them. You know? So that's all I gotta say about that. Peace.